Hellhound gets the buff there. Again, our 1 mana 2/3. You love to see it. And right here, Master Blockers. They only here we get double Robber, or we just play Torbran. That's a GG. 2-0. Gonna shock it? Okay. Well, even there, our Hellhound did 3 damage. So we get to follow them and them shocking themselves in with a double Fervent Champion and swing for 4, get them down to 13 on turn 2 with our creatures not even attacking them here, so that's pretty good. Figure we'll just play it safe, we'll play this Annex down. Math is for blockers, let them figure it out. How's it going, y'all? Titan Smash MTG here, and today we're some brand new Zendikar Rising Standard, our first look into Standard. Now, I think you all expect me to play Gruul starting off with the bat, and we'll definitely be getting into Gruul soon. But with the new set, I know a lot of times it's kind of hard for people to come upon the wild cards, kind of difficult to make new decks. So I wanted to try something where most of the things, you've already played this, already had it crafted, you don't have to invest that much into it. So we're going to start off with Mono Red Aggro. Not only that, but I feel like Mono Red Aggro is also just a really good place to start in these new metas because it's cheap, it's efficient, and it can still kill people really, really quickly. Now, Mono Red, you know, it lost some toys, but as a whole, it still kept Annex, it still kept Torbran, still kept Embercleave, still kept Robber. There's a lot of good things here in Mono Red, so let's take a look at the new stuff. Starting off, a 4-up, a Akuum Hellhound here. Most of the times, if you're hitting your land drops, it's a 1 mana 2/3 when it attacks, so Mono Red really likes that. It's a nice aggressive creature to pair with these Fervent Champions in the 1-drop slot. We're playing 2-up Spikefield Hazard as a 1 mana instant spell to kill some Lotus Cobras, basically. However, if you're playing against a Euro deck and have this held up, you can just shoot the Euro while it's on the stack there, or while it's on the battlefield. It gets exiled out of your life for good. Playing 2 Royal Eruption here, just a 2 mana Lightning Strike that is a sorcery speed, but late game, should we need it, we can do 5 damage to the face and face the place. A 4-of Shatter Skull Smashing. Now, I mentioned this is kind of budgetish, but obviously this is for Mythic wildcards. You don't have to have this if you want to. A lot of times it's not going to pop up. But there will be times when you need to get those really cheap, efficient blockers out of the way. Especially if you're in an aggro mirror, a lot of times with 4 mana, this can be a ping 1 here, get 2 creatures out of the way and go to town. 4-of Kargan Intimidator. My absolute favorite card of the set. You're going to be seeing me play this card a lot. Just a 3-power 2-drop, which is really nice for the deck. That can become a 4-power creature, this for 2. But also, making things cowards so they can't block your warriors is super nice. So, I love Kargan Intimidator here. Really excited to try this out in the new show. One that may look a little bit weird here, and we'll see if it works out or not. This is Shatter Skull Charger. 3 mana 4/3 Trample Haste. The only bad thing is that if it doesn't have a 1/1 counter on it, then it gets returned to its owner's hand at the end of the turn. But a lot of times in red, this is just what you kind of need. Like, you have this extra mana floating around. If you can't kick it, you can still just haste it out as a 4-power creature on turn 3. But later on, 5/4 Trample Haste, not too bad. Finally, the top end, our old friends, Torbran, Embercleave. So you'll see we're running 18 lands here, but it's actually 19, 20, 21, 22, plus 23, 24 here. So plenty of lands for Mono Red deck here. I think this is the right number to go. Now, forewarning, I've already played these games. I've been really busy with work, and I've just not had the chance to sit down. I was going to be able to play on Thursday when this set came out, and we all know how that kind of went with Arena being down. So this is our first look into really hopping in. So we're just going to take this into play queue just to kind of give you all an idea of what this deck can do before we start hitting on the rank ladder. Like, we're at the bottom of Platinum, I think. I've not really touched rank yet. Like, Platinum 4 didn't touch rank like the past 2 weeks because Standard was rotating, so it didn't really make a lot of sense. So this is what we got here, Mono Red. Let's see how it goes. Let's go. Alright, first game of the day here is against Beeford MTG. Let's see if we can't take it to them. We'll start out on the draw. Mono Red never likes that, but we're fast. That's okay. Opening hand here is nice. We got the Fervent Champ on 1. Shock if we need to use it. Into Robber, into Annex. I mean, it's just such a good curve. So, no creature for the opponents. We'll play this Fervent Champion down. Get to attacking. Hit from 1. Pass the turn. Curious what y'all are playing for the Standard. What's working for you. What's not so far. So, Boros here. They both have different kind of weird little lands here. So, maybe this is the Winota deck. Not really sure what this is here. Worthy Knights. So, new Knights, which actually I think could be pretty good. Since we don't have another 1-drop slot here, figured the best thing to do is just be more mana efficient. Go ahead and stomp the Worthy Knight. We definitely don't want that getting out of control because those 1/1s really get in the way of our blockers, or attackers. This opponent shocks in a Shatter Skull Smashing. So, 3 mana for opponent. Let's see what they do with it here. Inspiring Veteran, okay. So I imagine they're probably holding up some form of removal here. I don't know why they shocked that in here. I'm assuming this is a shock or something like that. Maybe a Hatfield Hazard. So, figure here we can go ahead and shock the Veteran. No response from them. So let's go ahead and play out the Robber the Rich with that remaining mana there. Get to attack and not really sure what they shoved that in for. That seemed kind of weird, but hey, we get them down to 12. Appreciate the free lightning bolt to themselves. Opponent down to 4 cards. Venerable Knight. Okay. Rimrock Knight. So opponent has a board there, but nothing too crazy. We miss out on a land here. I figured our best play is just to go ahead and attack, and the Venerable Knight can trade. But if it trades, we still get a token out of this thanks to Annex, so it's not too bad. So while that's like not a good trade for us for the Robber of the Rich or the Venerable Knight, it still gives us a token, and they just get to put a counter on the Rimrock Knight, which we're not afraid of since it can't block. We're winning the damage race here. They're down to 2 cards. Make that 1 card. Kargan Intimidator coming down, finding an Embercleave. But the good news here is even if they swing out, that's 10 damage, 11, 12, 13 with the Kargan Intimidator swing. So right now we're in a good spot. We can block that if we want to. Trying to think of what to do here, and I figure we have this other annex on the background anyways, so may as well just block here, get that out of the way. This way they're forced to top deck an untapped land and attack with a Kargan Intimidator, and it's still not good enough. We draw a Torben here, so I've got 2 options. I can play Annex, or I can play Kargan Intimidator and Hellhound, and I figure since I have that Torben, I'm probably better off playing the 2 creatures here, so that way if I top deck that land, then Torben can drop it in and we start attacking for big damage. No good attacks here, so we'll pass the turn. But next turn, I can say Kargan Intimidator can't block these warriors, and that's pretty good. So they drop Inspiring Veteran. Not too bad. However, we find Castle Ambreth. Hellhound gets the buff there. Again, our 1 mana 2/3. You love to see it. And right here, Master Blockers. They only got 1 more card in hand, and it looks like even with all the blocks they could do, they're still dead. GG. Good game 1 here. Let's go to game 2. It's game 2 against Educational Candy. My favorite kind of candy. Just kidding, it's Starburst. We're on the play this time. Very aggressive hand. Start off here with the Hellhound on turn 1. This way we can drop down the Fervent Champ on 2, or Robber or something like that if we draw it. Fervent Champ for the opponent, so we can't block here obviously, but it's really nice to know that worst case we're swinging 3 this next turn, so another mountain off the top, not the worst thing to see. Landfall trigger for the Hellhound, drop down the Fervent Champ, still swing for 3. You'll love to see it. The Shatter Skull Smashing could be good again in the mirror, just being on the play especially. It's really nice because they drop another Fervent Champion. Then on turn 4 there, we can X for 2, do 1 damage to Fervent Champ, 1 damage to Fervent Champ. And they spend their whole turn simply shocking our Fervent Champ, which is just fine. Annex, very nice hit off the top here, so we'll play this mountain down. Landfall trigger. Get the Annex down. Pass the turn. We got this Embercleave too, so we could also just shock in the Shatter Skull Smashing and then Embercleave. Annex for opponent. So it's a race here. Luckily we're winning this race right now. But we're about to even it up, so we're going to shock ourselves. I could Torben here. I can Embercleave, but we believe in the cleave in these parts. And they're kind of in a bad situation where any block they have here isn't good for them. So, kind of putting the onus on them to like, hey, you can either lose your creatures and then get killed. Let you figure it out, bud. No blocks for them, so we go ahead and put the Embercleave on the Annex. If it would have blocked the Hellhound with the Annex, I would have put the Cleave on the Hellhound, just to be able to have a 1-for-1, or a clean trade with the Annex and still have mine laying around. But they're down to 1. We have this Torben in their back pocket. We have this Rob of the Rich we can do things with. And even if they Embercleave us here, we're good. They drop down to Torben. That's great and all, but now you're still dead. They can swing all they want, but 4 is more than 0. Here we get double Robber, or we just play Torben. That's a GG. 2-0, mono red, you love to see it. Game 3 against Harlequin. It's like a Harley Quinn ripoff. On the play again, we like that, and we have a Hellhound and a double Fervent Champion start. Spicy. So we'll drop the Hellhound on here, turn 1, pass the turn. Opponent shocks in. You gonna shock it? Okay. Well, even there, our Hellhound did 3 damage. So we get to follow them and them shocking themselves in with a double Fervent Champion. And swing for 4, get them down to 13 on turn 2 with our creatures not even attacking them here. So that's pretty good. And that's why even though Shatter Skull Smashing and stuff like that is fantastic for a mana base, it is not a free cost, and that's something very important to recognize. Hellhound, great creature, but terrible blocker. So we got a pretty easy play here. Just play Annex once again. Always having that Annex on turn 3 just feels so nice for these decks. So we swing for 4 here. If they want to chump, they can, but it's just not good for them. We've already gotten down to 9 now. Land here means we can rob or and shock something. So we're feeling really good about where we're at. Opponent plays land tap. They're playing all these different kinds. I mean, they got the Valakut Stonehenge. I don't know what they're really doing here. Royal Eruption will give us 2 attackers, which really is not that bad either. So we got options here. I feel like since we have the Stomp in hand, might as well just play the Robber out. Get all kinds of damage here on them. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Once again, get them down to 1, and we hit the Shadow Skull Charger off the top. Not a bad hit. But unless they're going to dome us for 18 here, we have the Stomp in hand, they're dead. But yeah, they're playing a Koa Warrior here. Like, not sure why you'd be playing that in mono red. I get that you can make a big creature late game. That just seems bad, though. Landfall trigger for opponent. Annex. That ain't going to do it, my friend. That ain't going to do it. GG. 3-0 mono red, baby. Smacking on some people. Game number 4 against Johnny Chia. Johnny Chia is actually John Cena's little brother. So pretty cool to be playing against a celebrity here. Opening hand, I mean, we technically have 4 lands, but we have some versatility here. Still have the 1-drop and Fervent Champ, so we'll keep it. The only thing that really stinks about the play queue is you get matched up against mono red if you play mono red quite a bit. So the opponent plays their 1-drop that can't do anything. It holds us back, yes, but still, I mean, why would you want to play this in your deck when you can't attack with it? So we're actually playing some Gruul, the best color combination of Magic. Now opponent, again, they can swing with the Robber of the Rich. That's great because they're on the play. Their Wayward Guide Beast is sitting there. So here I got a few options. I could try to attack in and then Spikefield Hazard and kill their Guide Beast. But again, it's just not doing anything. Not really worried about it. I would rather try to have a combat trick where I can eat up this Robber here. So I decided to hold back for now. I don't want to waste my Spikefield Hazard on the little Wayward Guide Beast, because if they don't go for it and they just take the 1 damage, then we're kind of screwed. So here, they attack into it just like I want them to, and they hit a Stomp, which is terrible. You can see, so my plan didn't work out. Obviously frustrated here because I couldn't block and then have a Spikefield Hazard because they can Stomp in response. So unfortunately, we got to take it. So opponent hits us for 2. We play a Lotus Cobra, so the Hazard is not dead. However, they can still get a landfall trigger here, which is kind of frustrating. So they shock in. We still kill their Cobra, but they still get the mana. So they got 1 red floating, and now they go ahead and do the Stomp. So really nice Rob the Rich there for them. Taking our Bone Crusher Giant was pretty rough. Here we can play Annex, so their attacks are still bad, but we're still kind of on the back foot here. We'll see if we can get through this or not. Our hope is to maybe get enough mana where the Shadow Skull Smashing can clear the way for us, but as of now, not looking good for the home team. Opponent goes to attacks. Once again, we can't really do much. Go ahead and block here, see if they have a combat trick. They don't. They just really wanted to play our Annex, which, hey, we can't blame them. So here we could Shadow Skull Smashing and kill their Guide Beast, but again, it's just not doing enough of anything to really matter. I could play an Annex here and make some tokens, which may just be the best play. But we're just in a really awkward spot right now. Like, we can't really do much of anything, or we don't have an Ember Cleaver or a Torbert in hand. So I decided let's just play this Annex, that way I can make some tokens. So we get 2 tokens from one trigger and then 1 from the other one, so Annex and 3 tokens chilling out here. This way, if we have an Ember Cleaver or a Torbert, that makes it a much better draw. Again, opponent playing their 1 mana card here that has yet to attack us. Don't know why people like this card. Now they get a Question Beast off the top, and it's looking really rough for us. Our blocks here are terrible. So we gotta take 7, go down to 9. Not looking good for us. Another land off the top. Ain't what we wanted to see. So instead, we just play this Rob the Rich, and we just gotta hold back. Just rough sledding for us here. Not a good matchup, but I imagine they just go bigger than us. especially on the draw. That Wayward Guide Beast, good blocker. Still a bad card. Now they shock down my blocker, so the Annex can't even chump block. They get a Robber off the top, and now they're free to just swing. We have one blocker that can't really block most of this stuff. We can chump block here, and we go to 1. But it ain't good enough. Here, opponent can return a land, but it doesn't really matter. We're dead, so. Now, we do have 6 tokens, so a Torment off the top would have been 18 damage. However, the Questing Beast can still block 1. So I figured, just to go out with a little bit of a bang, let's Shadow Skull Smash somebody. And this does show why this card can be good, at least. You know, say late game, if we had the blockers and this was like the final damage we needed, just get 2 of these creatures out of here would have been good. So we send a message anyways, and then send a message goodbye, because we have lost. 3-1, last game of the day here against Seda 21-28. Let's see if we can't take it to them, finish with a 4-1 record. On the play, beautiful hand. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Royal Eruption or the Trample Haster here so far, so maybe we'll see one of those. However, we still have the Hellhound. Hellhound coming in big here so far. Opponent plays a green source, Lovestruck Beast. Okay, so we gotta put a clock on him because Lovestruck Beast's been a big blocker. It's not what we want to see here. Hellhound into Robber is still 4 damage right off the bat, and they have Return to the Wild Speaker. Don't think that's a playable card still, but more power to y'all. Now, I do believe there's some things in green that I like. I'm going to be messing with Gruul for sure. Y'all know what kind of channel this is. You know we'll be playing some Gruul, so Shadow Skull Smashing off the top does mean that we can play this Annex and then play, we're guaranteed Torbrand, or we can just, you know, say the Shadow Skull Smashing. Stonecoil Serpent, not too bad here. Now again, we trade, but it's not a terrible trade because we still get a token out of it, and we still have our Annex holding back. So now if we get this Torbrand down this next turn, they're looking like they're in pretty rough shape. So Lovestruck Beast coming down. Another Annex, not too terrible, and there is some consideration to maybe play the other Annex here and make a bunch of tokens. But I think here we just have them on the back foot so much that we just swing with these things. Now I attacked kind of badly there, offer up the Hellhound, but if they didn't block that, they would have been down to 2. Well, I guess 4. It'd be bad for them either way here. Now they're just left with a little 1-1. We have Torbrand and all these creatures. They can't really do too much here. Let's see what they do. Yorvo, not going to get it done. So here, so we'll play a Mountain. We can Shadow Skull Smashing and get a blocker out of the way. Trying to think of what to do here. Figure we'll just play it safe. We'll play this Annex down. Math is for blockers. Let them figure it out. No matter how they block here, it ain't good for them. They're taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, this is... Gets them exactly 0. They could have lived and gone to 1, but there's just no way they're getting out of that. So GG. 4-1 with Mono Red. Let's take a look at deck list one more time. So, quick little 4-1 recording there. Mono Red felt really, really nice. Really bummed we didn't get to use the Shadow Skull Charger here. Really wanted to see how that one would have done. But there were a lot of situations there where when I was playing, I was like, you know, if I had a Shadow Skull here off the top, it'd be a good draw. So I do want to try it out in this deck. I think 2 is the right number. You don't want to go too wild. One thing, a Koem Hellhound, we saw that one a lot. It was constantly, I think, just a really nice little 1-drop for this deck here. People trying to play the Wayward Beast Guide, I can't stand that card. I think it's so bad. And even in the 1-drop, you know, it stalled us in that game, I'll give it that. But it was a 1-drop that, in a Mono Red deck, your 1-drop that just sits there for 5 turns. Why are we playing that? But as a whole, like the feel of this deck, like the look of it. I felt like the mana was okay. Never felt like we really screwed or flooded too much. So as a whole, pretty nice there. Hope you all enjoyed. We'll be hitting some new standard later on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for so much support recently. I really appreciate it, y'all. Fantastic. Love y'all. Let's go.